Hey, thanks for checking out someone's morning news. I figured I'd start doing this again because summer's coming and there's news out there, and I'm realizing people don't read too much anymore, so I figure people would want someone else to read the articles to them. So why not pick this up again? This is on yahoo.com. Food stamp fraud crackdown at USDA would end loophole that lets Ferrari Lamborghini owners get benefits by Andrew Mark Miller. Friday, May 1st, 2026. U.S. Department of Agriculture (USDA) is ramping up efforts to crack down on food stamp fraud nationwide, targeting what officials say is a loophole allowing some wealthy individuals to qualify for government benefits. Secretary Brooke Rollins posted on X this week that a single state has 14,000 individuals on SNAP benefits who also drive luxury vehicles like Ferraris, Bentleys, and Lamborghinis. So that's important because the Ferraris, Bentleys, and Lamborghinis. I saw something probably about a year and a half ago, 2 years ago. So it was happening during the Biden administration or at the end of it, but it was people using food stamp money to or SNAP money to purchase. They take three identifications that are considered poverty. These people might not even be alive anymore. They'll just use a social security of someone who's already deceased. They take that, they go, they fill up three shopping carts, they use the SNAP benefits to pay for it, and they resell it at third party markets. And that's where they can afford the Ferraris, Bentleys, and Lamborghinis because now all of a sudden you take a $300 shopping trip and you turn it into $150 that you got for free. You just made $150 in an hour and a half. So these people see that as an opportunity, especially within their own community, to resell products at a affordable rate, but also rip off the people by abusing the systems. It's a little crazy. She warned fraudsters. The USDA is working to close a loophole under the broad-based categorical eligibility policy used to qualify for supplemental nutritional assistance program benefits despite having the financial means to purchase cars for hundreds. Exactly, purchase cars, yeah. So they're just taking advantage of the system. Rollins told Fox Business this week that the department is getting very, very close to being able to fix that loophole. I would hope so because I don't like seeing people rich get more rich from robbing people's taxes because that's where I become the Republican side. It's like get the hell out of here. No, go away. SNAP, the largest federal anti-hunger program in the United States, has long been a target of conservatives pushing for reforms, and Rollins spoke to the Ingraham Angle on Thursday night to shed light on just how widespread some of the issues are. We've found 500,000 people getting more than one benefit illegally. We found 244,000 people, or 244 dead people. That's what I was saying. They're using IDs of dead people and in democratic states. It's, this is, I'm realizing all the money they get for protesting for their social causes, they're just taking that money from the tax system and no one is doing anything. And I think that's the biggest problem is that people are just tired of it. I'm one of them. I'm tired of it. I grew up in the 90s. You think I want to deal with this? No way. Especially not now. Rollins said about what she's discovered going through the data from the states that have agreed to provide it since her first day on the job. We have arrested 895 different people in the last year for illegally using the food stamp system, and of course, now we're talking about what is happening with that money. USDA data shows 4.2 million fewer food stamp recipients during President Trump's first year in office as the administration continues to crack down amid reports from all across the country that food stamps are being misused. Food stamp waste and fraud is out of control. Republican congressional candidate in Orange County, I think that's California, and Cal Doge director Jenny Ray Rowe told Fox News Digital, California alone loses nearly 14 million every day from SNAP to EBT skimming, out of state and country beneficiaries, and eligibility lapses at a time when technology exists to close every gap quickly. Ugh. In March, Fox News Digital reported on a Minnesota man, Rob Undersander, who said that despite being a millionaire, he was able to qualify for food stamps. A Minnesota, of course. Of course. Why would it not be? Undersander has been sounding the alarm on the issue ever since and has testified on the issue in Minnesota and before Congress. Reintroducing basic guardrails like an asset test is a common sense step to restore integrity. And yeah, why they just go off of, so I've also had to use food stamps before, and this was back during COVID. I was out of work. I didn't have any money. Stimulus hadn't come in, and I needed some type of way to keep me afloat. So yeah, I used SNAP back then too, and ever since then I have been paying back what I used, or I'd like to assume so, through taxes. This isn't about reintroducing basic guardrails, restore integrity, ensuring benefits go to those who truly need them, and protect the long-term viability of the program. Exactly. So if people use it for what it's for, it could always be there. I mean, it's not an expensive program to maintain if people are having jobs and they're only using it when they don't have a job and they're looking for a job. It's just, that's what it ends up coming down to. This isn't about taking help away. It's about making sure SNAP works the way it was intended to. Yep. Additionally, the USDA issued a press release Thursday outlining the reorganization plan, the reorganization plan Rollins has with the SNAP program, which includes moving food nutrition resources and staff out of Washington, D.C. to other cities like Indianapolis, Dallas, Denver, and Kansas City. Okay, so yeah, diversify the staff of the agency so that it's not primarily in one location. If you do that, you can at least set up secondary systems and checks so that this doesn't consistently happen at that amount, at that rate. It's too much. A USDA spokesperson told Fox News Digital Friday the announcement aligns with the Food and Nutrition Administration's mission to nourish those in need through financially sound programs that promote health and work, as well as champion the productivity of American agriculture as the Food and Nutrition Administration begins its refocusing of operations. All 16 federal nutrition programs will continue without disruption. Pertaining to Indianapolis, it has a lower cost of living, one of the top airports in the country, and has excelled at innovative program delivery. Ultimately, the administration says the reforms will end up helping the people who depend on the assistance the most. Since its inception, SNAP has helped our most vulnerable citizens afford the essentials and nutritious food they need, which I'm happy that they are now allowing cooked food with some certain specifics to be purchased with it, like the homeless chickens, the rotisseries. Rollins and Department of Health and Human Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. wrote in a Fox News op-ed in March, at least that is what the program is supposed to do. Over time, however, SNAP has been taken advantage of, allowing many to game the system and leaving millions of vulnerable Americans without healthy, nutrient-dense food options. So, yeah, we'll read some of the comments real quick, if I can. Yeah. It makes me mad when I'm behind a person at Walmart who speaks a little English, uses Snap, and drives off. Yeah, exactly. And I've seen that so many times, especially in the South. Like, it's... I don't know. It happens up in the Northeast, but it's I don't know. It's not as common up in the Northeast just because we have massive amounts of snow. So people who generally drive the Lexus are on food stamps. They tend to have some type of grifting angle as well, where it's like a begging system. But since that's not really a year-round thing here due to seasonal changes, they're less common in the winters. I'll bet those 244. Yep, exactly. Yep, they still vote. Okay, so Yahoo, I feel like, is a little bit more moderate than left-leaning as compared to all the other sites like CNN and everything else. Any government worker who has an involvement in this should be fired and held accountable. Yep. He still got, how about we get all these billionaires to pay their fair share of taxes? This is why this guy's grandstanding. That's their argument. Why should I pay tax? It's just going to be wasted. Wake up. How dumb is everybody? You're being led around by your nose. This is the Republican dog whistle story. There's fraud everywhere, especially in all these billionaires' businesses. So, I don't know. I've been on the fence about that one for a while. I don't know. That's a conversation for another time. Let's just say I appreciate what the billionaires do, but I do think there should be some form of tax reform overall for the entire country where it's just like a universal flat percentage and no way to avoid it. Like even if it's just 5% of your overall income. Let's say you make 2 billion a year, 5% of 2 billion without being able to avoid paying it. That's a lot of money towards taxes in the economy, and that's only 5% of their income, which is that's nothing to me. Like I look at that and say, if losing 5% of your income is going to bankrupt you and financially and cause you to be homeless and lose everything, you are making risky decisions that are going to cost you either way. So that's entirely your fault. That's how I see it. I mean, it's 5% of someone's income should never be a deteriorating factor of their livelihood or their lifestyle in general. That shouldn't even be an impact. I mean, it's like, oh look, 5%. Here you go, whatever. That's my. I'm still trying to work that through, but yeah. So overall, though, this is good. I'm glad they're working on a system to handle it. I am glad they're at least investing into the idea of fraud needing to go away and these issues. So who knows? Maybe this will actually help balance the deficit. And if they can keep doing this, then great. I would love to see America go back to the way it was, where the services worked, people were nice, and you didn't have to worry about fraud as much. It's always going to be there, but as much as is the critical factor that I like to focus on. Minimize it to the point where ignorance feels good. So, all right. That's it. Thanks.